history of slaves and immigrants, the migrants. You see the years, the 1800s. When we look into the 1800s, we'll see the migration of the so-called Jews, the Protestants. We'll see the immigrants catching these cargo ships, full of cargo ship, sick. The story that they tell about slavery is the actual story of the immigrants on the cargo ships. That's why you don't find no slave ships. But you can find all the evidence of the immigrants coming over here on the cargo ships, these so-called Jews. And you look into Operation Paperclip, when they brought all the German scientists, German chemists, all the engineers. Then you start looking to the war on drugs. And you look and you see, when you look at South America, what people like, the one they call the Butcher of Leon, Claude Barbie. When you look into Barry Seal, and all these folk that were pushing drugs into our community, you would see they were working with the Nazis, these Germans who had the mission to keep they goal of conquering the world. See that Masonic symbol? You see the date, 1874, 1936, 1902, 1961, 1851. You see that back there? 1898 to 1929. You see that little obelisk back there? All these are evidence of the migration, the so-called, what they try to tell us, the slave trade. They try to tell us that we were brought over on these ships and packed in on these ships, and they show you these pictures of these slaves. No, this is who, right here. You see that? You see where he come from? See that? How you say that? Edward Langton Colbeck, born Elstree, Northamptonshire, England, April 24, 1865. Died in Greensboro, Alabama. So he was an immigrant. They all came over here as slaves. If you look into the Jewish migration, the Protestant migration, when you look into the immigrants in the 1800s, 1700s, they were brought over here to work. They were poor people. These people had nothing. They came here with nothing. But all of a sudden, these are the people that we give so much credit to owning shit like Ford, Henry Ford, Elliston with the electricity, Benjamin Franklin. We go on name all these people which all were immigrants. All these graves in Greensboro, Alabama, right here in this cemetery, are full with nothing but immigrants. Slaves. These are the real slaves. The 1860 to 1927. 1866 to 1949. 1927 to 1928. 1839. You got some in the corner, go all the way back to 13. All these graves with all these obelisks, these are the immigrants. These are the original slaves. These are the people who were brought here to work. And they had a mission to fill up America with so-called white people. They wasn't called white people at that time. These was the Protestants. These were the so-called fake Jews. 1913. Look at that. 1888. Look, 1879. All these in 1800s. These are slaves. These are white Slavic slaves. And America not gonna tell you the truth. And the sad thing about Greensboro, Alabama, how did they come here and take over? And it's still to the day when we as a people, the so-called melanated people, the so-called black people, the so-called African American, look at this grade right here coming up. Look at that mother that cracked up. We are the majority. And yet these folks still run this city. Why? Because we're gonna show you all this Masonic symbols. The stronghold. You see those obelisks? I want to walk on graves and stuff. See all these obelisks? You see them? You see them? You see them? See the obelisks? All these slaves, 1884, 1880. So if they came over here during the 1800s, they were migrating on no cargo ships. They were poor Protestants. They were poor Jews. They were poor people. Nothing people who came to America now acting like they are the people. Look at here, you see the obelisks? You see this? Yes. This is the evidence right here. And remember R.L. Brand, who departed this life March 5th, 1890, in his 62nd year. Remember, man, as your past by as you are now. So once you was as I am now, so you must be prepared for death and follow me. Look at that shit. Excuse my language. Look at him. Coleman. What's that? What's that? Whoa, look at that. Wait, that. Born. I can't even see it. But died in 1890 something. Come on, man. All these are 1800s. These are slaves. And nobody gonna tell the truth. These are white slaves. That's a little baby right there. All these is immigrants that migrated on those cargo ships, came over here, took your land, took your resources, took your names. That's why you see the names so similar to yours. If they, like, he came from England, why is it not, how would they have an American name? How would they be Pickens and all this other crap that they are? Because they came here and they had to change their name through the Reconstruction. See all these obelisks? What is this? 18, you know what I'm saying? All of them, 18. All of them. These are slaves. No one gonna tell the truth. These are white slaves. This grave is a historical grave site with white slaves. Yeah. But that died at birth right there. These two children. So I wonder what they twins. They must have been twins, because that one born May 8, 1898. And that one born October 27th, and died December. So it lived a few months. So this family had some hard times then. 2 babies right here. And that's Ivory Foreman Lewis, born in, I gotta walk over here because I want to see what this say. Born in Tarboro, like Tarboro, 1833. Look at that. All these are slaves, man. Look at that. 1857 and died in 1883. 1875, 1917, all these. Believe it or not. See, they teach you that bull crap in history, so people ain't gonna want to believe this. People expect these crackers. But here it is right here. May the 1st, 1818. Died September the 12th, 1882. Evidence, man, of the real slaves. Okay, what they teach us, how they try to distort this crap. Here it is right here. All the way right here. All these grades, 1800s. These are the Protestants and so-called Jews. This is a Catholic graveyard. This is why you see all these obelisks. This was part of the Papa Bull, the Inquisition. These were the Protestants all along coming over, trying to push this religion on you, this Christianity on you, flipping the script on you. What's that? 1822. Yeah. There's one in this corner right here I really want to get. All these slaves, white slaves, Slavs, these Protestants who come over on these cargo ships, poor pestilent people, bringing disease and destruction to your land. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that obelisk. Look at how it go. Resurrection. They've been resurrected. Yeah, baby. This is truth. This is truth. Truth. For all the truth seekers. Look at that. 1886. See the obelisk? Look at them, baby. Look at them. Just look at them. I can't see when they were born, but like they died 1872. This big one over here. They got some more graves over there. I never went on that side. I don't know what's over that side. But this right here, Francis Marion. I had to Google this up and look into this. Now look at this. So they got a city named Francis Marion with a school, Francis Marion, behind these Slavic slave people, behind these immigrants who came over and took your land, took your name, took your resources, and now make you worship them as God, make you serve them as the people of high royalty and everything else. The people of importance. But these people came over here with nothing, poor, pestilent people. How did they establish business companies? When you look into the immigrants in Chicago, you look at them, how they started their business, they were all starting in the houses. Well, I can say little houses because they had upstairs and downstairs. Someone had 3 floors. But these immigrants, these Protestant immigrants, lived in these goddamn work factories in the beginning of their stages, and they were it was filth. It was so much filth. This is why you got your child care come in, your child with the child labor forces and all this, with your social workers and everybody that came along to help the children, because the children were forced to work too. The parents weren't just coming over here as slaves. They children were white folk children were slaves too. See, this is shit they're not telling people. They're not teaching this history, the real fucking history. They children were slaves too. It was so bad around these factories, as they were starting these factories out in the housing, that feces would run out into the streets. Yes, they brought that much filth. This is where you get your welfare from. We as Negroes like to put each other down about welfare, but welfare wasn't put up for us. Welfare was put up for the system of these immigrants whose children were forced to be slaves as they was. This is what you got the child labor laws come in, because their children were forced to work. These were Protestant, pestilent people, poor people who came to America and stole your resources, stole your name, stole your land, and erased you to nothing. And they teach you this history about slavery, but they don't teach you this here. They don't teach you who came over on these cargo ships. They tell you about slave ship, but you can never find no evidence of no slave ship on the drawing pictures. But you can pull up evidence of these so-called Jewish people, these so-called Protestant people migrating to America on the cargo ships. This is historical fact. And this is a Catholic graveyard. That's why you got all the obelisks. You see them? You see all this? You see all this? Look at that. 1800s. 1800. They came over in the 1800s. They were slaves. Look at that family tomb right there. Look at that. They took your wealth. Took your resources and taught you that you was the slaves. And we as a people, we believe it. But here go all the evidence of the slaves right here. That's why you don't know nothing about the graveyard. It took me just now to discover this and to look into this and find out this information. All these are slaves. No, you ain't gonna want to believe it, because they ain't gonna teach you this. Why are the students in school not being taught this? Why we don't know nothing about the Protestants and they migration on the cargo ship as Slavics? With the original word slave come from the Slavic people. Huh? Why we don't know the history? Why we taught that we as the so-called African American are the damn slaves, when that's not true? We were prisoner of war, POW. It's a different. We wasn't slaves. We were prisoners of war. Look at that. Look at that. And you'll tell me that's not symbolism? Look at him. Look at him, man. Slaves. Slaves. You go by the year. That's how you go by the year. This is the migration. When you look into the Protestant migration, the Jewish migration from the 17th to 1800, you can't deny this shit. You see the dates. And you can see the history telling you they were brought over here to work. They were brought over here to flood America with white people. They did it deliberately, the same way they're doing with the immigrants now. It's no different what they're doing now, flooding the border. It ain't just white, it's African immigrants all over. That's why they confuse us, try to make us believe that we are Africans. The evidence is here, baby. Look at him. Look at all the obelisks. for identifying this as the Catholic graveyard out of the Inquisition to come over here to force their religion, force their way of life upon you. They flooded us with these people. The same way they're doing with these immigrants from down in South America. With all the drugs and everything else, then we the one get criticized. We the one get convicted. We the one get the prison get filled up with us. Now, I don't want that video to be too long because I already 20-something minutes. But you see all the evidence of these slaves. These are slaves. These are the Slavic people. These are the Protestants. These are the Jews. You look into the Jews' migration. It's not hidden. You can Google this stuff up. You can Google up on APT public television. You Google it up on the History Channel. I want to make a better video. But I just walking this morning, get some exercise. You know, like I come sometimes, I walk through the graveyard and I just look at all these graves, and I've been studying this, you know, looking into this stuff. And I looked into it, I found out that these Protestants, these Slavic people were brought over here on these cargo ships as slaves, forced to work. Look at that, that's 1799. 1804. What it is? 1848. 1837. 1836. So you can't make this shit up. It's right here. 1855. So all this going back to the 1800s, you can't deny that these are the Slavic people. These are the immigrants who were brought over here to work as slaves. No one teach the true history. They want you to believe that we are the slaves. But this is a graveyard full of immigrant slaves, white Protestants and Jewish probably, all the immigrants, because they got 1800 onto the 17th. These are the immigrants who were brought over here to work, forced to work. Look into this shit. Look into the child labor laws and when that came about. Look into welfare when it came about. Look into these factories, how they started these factories and how these factories operating, how the immigrant was so nasty and filthy that they were fucking up the city. Excuse my language. But they were so nasty and filthy, they brought so much disease over to our country and to our people. All these laws that were set up, the welfare laws and all the well-being laws, it was put up for them the way they were treating their children. When you're talking about domestic violence and all this, we as the indigenous people, we didn't beat on our women. We didn't beat on our children. These people brought that type of stuff to us. This was their way of life, what they brought, and then we started to adapt to it. They beat their wives and children. Not only that, the men will rape their children. This is history that they don't want to talk about. They go to evidence of the slaves right here. And like I said, I'm gonna make another video. I'm about to get out of here right now. I'm gonna walk through him and him. But the evidence right here, man. Can't see those so old right here, you can't even see the date. But I bet you going back deep, going back far here. What it did right here. That 1844. I can imagine these right here, what these is. But you can't see the writing. Then this right here, that's like a child grave right there. 1863, excuse me, 1865. And these two people right here, I guess they husband and wife. That's like a child grave right there. I can't get over to it because I don't want to walk on all over the graves and stuff. So let me just get on up out of here right now. Okay, look at this right now, then I'm gonna go. Wow, I can't see that. I can't see what's on that. See, these folks right here were born over in England somewhere. See, you can't make this up, man. You cannot make this up. Can't make it up. You just not been taught about it. 1880. 1874. 1866. age 30. Past the age 30. You ain't got to hear it. These are the slaves right here in Greensboro, Alabama, that you'll never be taught about. Right here in Greensboro, Alabama. 1869. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shit, I'm out of here.